It's Tuesday, March 12th. In the headlines, budget debates begin today. The outcome of the bilateral meeting hosted by Jamaica on Monday. CARICOM announces a transitional governance arrangement for Haiti. In business news, Scotia Group Jamaica generates $3.13 billion in net profit. Regionally, Ariel Henry resigns as president of Haiti. And in sports, Issa Grace Kennedy Boys and Girls Athletics Championships set to begin on March 19. This is the news on PBC Jamaica. I'm Simone Absalom Gale. Finance and Public Service Minister Dr. Nigel Clarke will open the annual budget debate in Parliament today, March 12. He's expected to tell the nation how the government will finance the $1.3 trillion budget. Funds for public sector wages are now approximately 40% of the non-debt expenditure budget and about 12.6% of gross domestic product. He's expected to explain how and when the funds will be disbursed. When Dr. Clarke tabled the 2024-2025 budget last month, he had noted that the compensation allocation for $442 billion includes an estimated amount to conclude the implementation phase of the restructured compensation system during the fiscal year. The debate will continue on Thursday, March 14, when the opposition spokesman on finance, Julian Robinson, will make his contribution. Opposition leader Mark Golding will contribute to the debate on Tuesday, March 19, before Prime Minister Andrew Holness makes his contribution on Thursday, March 21. Dr. Clarke will close the debate on Tuesday, March 26. A transitional presidential council. That was the main outcome of an emergency meeting held in Jamaica with several heads of CARICOM member states, along with leaders of Canada, France, Kenya, Benin, Brazil, and Mexico. The government leaders spent the day discussing various avenues of resolving the political and civil crisis in Haiti. At the end of the meeting, Guyana's president and CARICOM head Dr. Irfan Ali announced the resignation of Haiti's president Ariel Henry. Dr. Ali said Haitian stakeholders have committed to implementing a transitional presidential council and the naming of an interim prime minister. He said the presidential council will have 7 voting members and 2 observing members, 1 from civil society and 1 from the interfaith community.
We are pleased to announce the commitment to a transitional governance arrangement, which paves the way for a peaceful transition of power, continuity of governance, an action plan for near-term security, and the road to free and fair elections.
Earlier during the opening statement, Jamaica's Prime Minister Andrew Holness said the fear of the situation in Haiti worsening to become a civil war is now a real one. He said they all agreed that this cannot be allowed to happen.
Not in our hemisphere, with our long-standing democratic tradition and reputation as a zone of peace. Haiti needs new, cohesive, domestic resolve and the requisite support from its partners. The people of Haiti deserve the opportunity to experience another way of being, to determine their destiny, to secure their rights, and to be free from oppressive forces within and without.
Mr. Holness said the first step in the establishment of the multinational security support mission being spearheaded by Kenya is critical.
We can also agree that Haitian voices must be central to any deliberations towards a resolution of the situation. The Haitian people must feel and know that they are a vital part of the process, having ownership in its planning and implementation.
U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken, who flew to Jamaica for the meeting, announced an additional $100 million, bringing the U.S. contribution to the security mission to $300 million.
We support the plan to create a broad-based, inclusive, independent presidential college that would in particular, first, take concrete steps to meet the immediate needs of the Haitian people. Second, enable the swift deployment of the multinational security support mission. And third, through that deployment, through a reinforced Haitian National Police, create the security conditions that are necessary to hold free and fair elections, to allow humanitarian assistance to get to people who need it, and to help put Haiti back on a path to economic opportunity and growth.
When asked about funding from CARICOM, Dr. Ali did not specify an amount, but said member states will be giving their support. Canada has pledged $123 million towards the mission. No clear timeline has been set for boots on ground.
I don't want to go into details, but the security mission has many components. It has the deployment of the MSS. That is one aspect. We have the financing. That's a second aspect. And then we have what we term today a bridging security mechanism. That's a third aspect that is under consideration. How do we ensure that there is a bridge between the deployment and what exists today? And that requires continuous assessment and also requires resources and equipment on the ground. I wouldn't want to go further than that because these are matters that are carefully crafted and being discussed.
He did say that they did not discuss the refugee situation, explaining that they were more focused on stabilizing governance. He said the outcome of the meeting is just one step in the journey of Haiti's development and a successful self-governance. During the opening statements of the CARICOM bilateral talks about Haiti, Mexico's Secretary of Foreign Affairs, Alicia Bercino Ibera, called for the sanctioning of non-state actors financing gang violence and arms trafficking in the crisis-torn country.
When we were members of the United Nations Security Council, Mexico promoted the resolutions that renew the mandate of the United Nations Integrated Office in Haiti and Resolution 2653, which impose sanctions on non-state actors linked to gang financing and arms trafficking. And we urge the Sanctions Committee to act more effectively in implementing this resolution. We are aware that this situation is not recent and that we have this imperative to all of us to address the root causes, and we mean poverty, inequality, violence, and social disintegration.
She also called for sustained support for economic development.
It is essential to put together projects for development and increase the productive capacities and job opportunities for Haitians. Without development, there can be no security.
The Cuban government is inviting applications from persons wishing to pursue undergraduate and postgraduate studies. According to Cuba's ambassador to Jamaica, Fermin Gabriel Jimenez Sanchez, the scholarship program is designed for students who would return to serve the country. More from Danita Rodney.
As of September, the Cuban government is offering additional scholarships for Jamaican students to study in Canada. With the Jamaica-Cuban Bilateral Medical Scholarship Program, more Jamaicans will be able to study in various fields, including nursing, medicine, and engineering. Under the full scholarship, tuition, accommodations, meals, clothing allowance, study material, and medical care are covered by Cuba. The program is administered by the Cuban Embassy in Jamaica in conjunction with the Scholarship Unit of the Ministry of Finance and the Public Service and other entities. Cuba's ambassador to Jamaica, Fermin Gabriel Jimenez Sanchez, told JIS News that the Cuban government proposed an expansion in their offer of scholarships at the 8th CARICOM Cuba Summit in Barbados in December 2022. At the summit, he said Cuba made a commitment to increase the number of scholarships that are provided to each Caribbean country. Apart from the scholarship, the ambassador said persons can also study in Cuban universities through self-finance programs. Reporting for the news on PBCJ, I'm Danita Rodney.
A newborn girl who was abducted from the compound of the Kingston Public Hospital by a woman has been found. According to Senior Superintendent of Police Michael Phipps, the 11-day-old infant was recovered in Dunkirk, East Kingston. Baby Kimoya Rowe was abducted from her mother on the compound of the Victoria Jubilee Hospital. The newborn was found in the company of a woman who the police surmised had tricked her wheelchair-bound mother, 26-year-old Christiana Blake. Up to News Time, the reason for the abduction was not clear. SSP Phipps says the person in whose custody the baby was found is to be placed in custody at one of the female facilities. Time now for the business report with Denise Williams.
Good day, everyone, and thank you for joining us on the Business Report. I'm Denise Williams, your guide through the latest happenings in the world of business. For the first quarter ended January 31, 2024, Scotia Group Jamaica posted total revenues of $14.9 billion, an increase of 8.5% over last year. This generated a net profit of $3.13 billion, a marginal dip from the $3.36 billion posted for the same period last year. Scotia Group Jamaica's asset base grew by 10.7% to $666 billion, with the group's loan book up by 17.4%. Deposits were up by $47.3 billion to $456.7 billion. The retail business saw an uptick of 12% in personal loans and 24% in mortgages. Epley Limited has announced record profits for its financial year ended December 31, 2023. For the period, the company reported its highest ever profit yield of $507 million, a 112% increase over the previous year. In speaking about the results, Vice Chairman of Epley, Nicholas Scott, said, "The strong growth in our asset management income is in line with our strategy of consistently improving the size and quality of our earnings." Scott continued, "Epley's asset management income alone is now sufficient to meet our funding costs." Highlighting the company's financial strength, Epley remains committed to delivering cash returns to our investors and will be paying our highest dividend ever at the end of this month. We are confident in Epley's financial strength and future growth prospects. We remain committed to investing in our people to sustain our momentum. During trading on March 11, 2024, the top advancing stocks covered the finance, transportation, and media sectors on the Jamaica Stock Exchange. Epley Limited shares advanced 22.68% for a $7.76 price jump to close at $41.97 with one share traded. Trans-Jamaica Highway Limited US dollar shares advanced 9.66% to close at 2 cents with 41,298 shares traded. The Limnars and Bards Limited shares advanced 9.46% for a 14-cent price increase to close at $1.62 with 502 shares traded. On the declining stocks that traders experienced, on March 11, 2024, the top three losers covered the finance sector. JMMB Group Limited 7.15% shares declined by 19.71% for a 67 cents price drop to close at $2.73 with 300,000 shares traded. JMMB Group 7.25% variable rate JMD cumulative rate preference shares declined by 14.86% for 48 cents price slippage to close at $2.75 with 204 shares traded. Mayberry Jamaican equities declined by 14.72% for a $1.60 price drop to close at $9.27 with 63,246 shares traded. Over on the Twin Island Republic of Trinidad and Tobago, it registered a volume of 452,524 shares crossing the floor of the stock exchange valued at TT $8,284,709.67. Massey Holdings Limited was the volume leader, with 247,042 shares changing hands for a value of TT $1,086,341.91, followed by One Caribbean Media Limited with a volume of 71,689,000 shares being traded for TT $245,635.30. Moving from the money moves of investors, executives, and companies, we turn to the Forex market. On March 11, 2024, the Bank of Jamaica reported US $18 million was bought from Forex Traders, while US $14.9 million was sold to Forex Traders. Buying directly from the Bank of Jamaica, foreign currency traders sold the US dollar for $115. Buying directly from the Bank of Jamaica, foreign currency traders sold the US dollar for $155.53 and bought the US dollar for $154.02. The difference between the buy and sell rate was $1.51, which represents a profit for Forex traders for every US dollar traded. Canadian Forex traders earned a trading profit of $7.55 from transactions with the Bank of Jamaica. The Canadian dollar was sold at $117.62 and bought for $110.07. For traders looking at the British pound, they pocketed a profit of $9.11, selling it for $203.29 and buying it for $194.18. For the credit report tip of the day, are you feeling a bit hesitant about talking to the banks about your credit report? Well, it's normal to feel a little intimidated about talking to bankers, especially if you're concerned about your credit. But remember, they're here to assist you. Take a deep breath, remind yourself of your worth, and approach the conversation with confidence. Practice what you say, Practice what you want to say beforehand if it helps to ease your nerves. And with that, we wrap up today's business report. I'm Denise Williams. Appreciate your company. Stay well informed, stay ahead of the curve. Until our next update, take care.
In regional news, the president of Haiti, Ariel Henry, has resigned. He's been in Puerto Rico since last week after gang leaders dominating the capital warned him against returning to Port-au-Prince. Caribbean leaders have been meeting in Jamaica's capital to discuss the security crisis in Haiti. Al Jazeera's Teresa Bow reports.
After days of violence and warnings, the return home of Prime Minister Ariel Henry would trigger a civil war, came a resignation announcement.
After the Council of Ministers accepted to put into place a transitional presidential council, the members of the council will be picked after agreement with different sectors of the national life. The government I'm running will remove itself immediately after the establishment of said council.
The announcement followed emergency talks in Jamaica with Caribbean leaders from the CARICOM regional organization. Also there was America's top diplomat, the U.S. Secretary of State, pledged an additional $100 million for a UN-backed force to stabilize Haiti.
We support the plan to create a broad-based, inclusive, independent presidential college that would, in particular, first take concrete steps to meet the immediate needs of the Haitian people. Second, enable the swift deployment of the multinational security support mission.
Jimmy Cherisier, known as Barbecue, is the leader of the G9 Gang Federation, which is one of the groups that has taken over the streets of Port-au-Prince. Cherisier says he wants to transform Haiti for good, which is why he's threatening hotel owners in the capital for sheltering politicians close to Ariel Henry.
We don't want to give you lies. We're not in a peaceful revolution. We're making a bloody revolution in the country because this system is an apartheid system, a wicked system. Woe betide anyone who hides a politician who collaborates with Ariel Henry in their hotels.
Anger and frustration marked the 3 years of Ariel Henry's tenure as Haiti's leader. Henry rose to power in 2021, weeks after President Jovenel Moïse was assassinated by a group of mercenaries. Henri took control of the government amidst a crippling economy and spiraling violence. In 2023, more than 4,000 Haitians were killed and another 3,000 kidnapped. In 2022, Henri survived an assassination attempt during a ceremony marking Haiti's independence. Some investigators believe Henri was involved in the assassination of Jovenel Moïse, which only added fuel to the turmoil on the streets. In the past year, the gangs became even more powerful, and Henri requested international assistance to help the police and security forces stop their battle to take over. Henri traveled to Kenya to sign a cooperation agreement to deploy 1,000 elite police officers as part of a UN multinational security support team. But he was not allowed to return home.
Many Haitians considered Ariel Henry an illegitimate leader because he was not elected, and many were hoping for him to resign. But even though he did not enjoy the support of the population, he did have the support of the United States and other countries, until now.
The countdown is on to Antigua's hosting of the 4th Conference on Small Island Developing States, with the youth arm of the event launched on Monday. It will create a platform for young people of participating countries to share their views in a quest to create meaningful change. Patrice Martin reports.
With the Small Island Developing States Conference swiftly approaching, March 11 saw the launch of the Youth Summit to be held as part of this conference, hosted by the Ashley Lashley Foundation Barbados, UNICEF, and the government of Antigua and Barbuda. This summit, the brainchild of Ashley Lashley, a 24-year-old youth activist of Barbados, says she saw the need to fit this timely discussion as part of the SIDS4 conference to invoke change amongst the stakeholders and heads of government, with a chance for youth voices to not only be included, but to be heard. Peter Bolt, UNICEF representative for the Eastern Caribbean, shared UNICEF's commitment to the summit.
We have started and will continue to advocate for their voices with the negotiators of the official SIDS4 outcome documents. And we will continue to empower children and youth in advocacy and influencing skills to ensure that their voices are heard.
Prime Minister of this country, the Honorable Gaston Brown, spoke on behalf of Antigua and Barbuda as host for SIDS4.
As the host country, Antigua is proud to play a leading role in this important summit. We recognize the significance of this gathering and the responsibility that comes with it. We are committed to providing a supportive environment where every voice is heard, every idea is valued, and every action is celebrated. You are the future of our nations, and your contributions are invaluable. Seize this opportunity to make your voices heard, to stand up for what you believe in, and to work together towards a brighter tomorrow.
Executive Director, 24-year-old Ashley Lashley of Ashley Lashley Foundation gave her view on the expectations and way forward as a result of the summit.
Focus on resilient recovery, safe and prosperous environmental integrity, and planetary sustainability. So within those specific components, what we're doing is building the capacity of young people.
Lashley hinted at the presence of a celebrity guest whom will not yet be revealed, coupled with a cultural fashion show and at least 60 delegates across SIDS4 participating countries at the Youth Summit. The Global Action and Youth Summit will be held as part of the SIDS4 conference from May 24 to 26, 2024.
In Barbados, some 30 people who live in Christchurch East will form the first group that gets another opportunity to qualify themselves with the Caribbean Examination Council certificates. Entitled CXC Second Chance Program, will cater to those in the constituency who left school without any academic qualifications.
We are hoping that our participants, 30 of who registered to be part of this program, would enhance their volunteerism via the Christchurch East DEO. They will be exposed to a series of self-development workshops, resume writing, interview training, HR consultations, summer internship, and job placements. And after the completion of the program, we will hold a small graduation to acknowledge the completion of the program. And it is our hope that each participant will view this program not only as a second chance, but as an investment in themselves and a stepping stone to being a positive citizen of Barbados.
People who don't know you are pitching up their money and investing in you to give you a second chance. It is incumbent upon you to justify the faith that we are placing in you and take fullest advantage of it. It is my duty to ensure that the chances that I got, everybody else gets. If you don't do anything with it, that's your business. But my conscience can be real clear. I gave you the chance. So we're going to keep doing this as long as we can, for as many people as we can. But the success of this program ultimately depends on your success. Because if out of the 30 people who are doing it, y'all don't justify it, then we can't get the sponsorship for it and it's going to fail. So your best chance to help other people is to succeed.
In sports, this year's Issa Grace Kennedy's Boys and Girls Athletics Championships is set to start on March 19 at the National Stadium. Assistant coach at Calabar, Errol Messias, says he is anticipating some noteworthy performances from his squad. Calabar last secured the Boys Championships title in 2018, but it is renowned for having one of the most successful track and field programs on the island. The 5-day event will take place at the National Stadium from March 19 to March 23. With just under 3 months before the West Indies men begin their campaign in the ICC T20 World Cup 2024, white ball head coach Darren Sammy took some time to share his expectations in the build-up towards the event.
As a player, Darren Sammy has won 3 major ICC tournaments with the West Indies senior men, and he shares how important hosting a tournament of this magnitude will be for the Caribbean.
And hosting the World Cup in the West Indies, it's everything. You know, we hosted it in 2010. We did not win, but to have it on our home shores again, the impact it will have not only on us cricketers, but the different countries in the islands, in the regions, you know, from the tourism industry to the hotel workers to people coming in. It will be an amazing spectacle for us in the Caribbean, and I can't wait for all these visitors to come to our shores and bless our island and our tourism industry.
Sammy says the power in the team's batting is present, but the challenge lies within the bowling department.
You know, obviously, we need to tinker and work on some different bowling roles, and that, you know, myself, James Franklin, the captain, have been speaking to various persons that we want to execute the different roles. I've been speaking and working diligently with our analyst, Avnes, you know, looking at grounds, different venues we're going to have, and the different dimensions and different conditions in the surface, you know, that it brings, and making sure we have the right personnel to fill in those key roles.
The 2-time T20 World Cup winner reached out to Windies fans while sharing what it will mean to win at home.
And the guys are looking good, the team is looking good, so I rally my Maroon fans to come out. It's at home. And there's no better place to play cricket than in the Caribbean. It's a different atmosphere, and it's over the years what we've been able to create as a cricket destination is you, the fans, to be able to be at home, raising silverware right in front of our home fans. That would be something special. I think it would be right up there with the 2016 and 2012 World Cup.
And that's it for the news on PBCJ. You can follow us on our social media platforms at PBCJamaica. Thank you so much for watching.